At one time or another, most pet owners have been confounded by their animal's behavior, or more appropriately, how to change their behavior. And it would be so nice to have the dog whisperer just on your speed dial, wouldn't it? Well, today, through the magic of satellites, Cesar Millan joins us to help us minimize our best friend's exposure to fleas and ticks for the upcoming season. Welcome, Cesar. I'm a big fan and so happy to have you today.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
I love, as you mentioned, you've got the ranch behind you. It looks so beautiful.
I love it here.
Well,
this is home. This is home. You know, the more dogs, the better.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar with you, which it would be hard to believe there's anybody that's not familiar with you, but tell us about where your dog training aptitude was originally formed.
Well, my grandfather, my grandfather and my father actually raised me at the ranch. Obviously, my mom was there, but I was trained in a way by them not to work against Mother Nature. They always say, Cesar, you make sure you gain the trust, you make sure you're respectful with them, and they will give you their loyalty. So this is what I heard when I was little. Then I came to America. And I saw that this connection, from the instinctual point of view with dogs. I mean, the dogs are very loved here, but the dogs don't really listen to the humans. So that's when I came out with the idea of training people so I can rehabilitate dogs.
It's an incredible thing, and what you've been able to give to so many dog owners out there with your knowledge and your trust has been incredible. And jumping into the freelance dog rehabilitation business, I mean, that's been a really big thing for you. So what is your best advice for maintaining the dog's health and stability on a regular, consistent basis?
Well, I'm always going to say exercise, discipline, and affection, and today I partner with Frontline, to make sure that people understand what works for the dogs in regard fleas and ticks. Here, when you have a pack of dogs, or when you have one dog, and for that matter, you have to make sure that you prevent fleas from getting into your dogs or ticks from getting into your dogs. And if people want to learn a lot more about how this works and how many eggs fleas can lay, they can always visit their vet, because the more knowledge you have, the more confident you become. At the same time, fleas and ticks is a problem, but the heartworm disease, it can actually be very detrimental to our dogs. So to actually use a product that can actually work and prevent this from our dogs to catching this disease, we use HeartGuard here, and so one thing that you mentioned earlier is people trust you, and I want to make sure that I share what we use here, things that we trust. And so thanks to those two products, our dog's health has maintained a well balance.
That's great. I mean, it's a great way to combat the issues, because what happens is dogs are out in nature, as you know, and their exposure to parasites really increases significantly. So I would imagine those are the best products that you would recommend.
Well, I have to use, the best product that's up there, because I really care about my pack, and my pack is always outdoors. This is 43 acres of beauty, and I want to make sure, I can't tell the flea don't to come in, but I can definitely prevent the flea from coming into my dog's bodies.
For sure. Well, for those who don't know what Lyme disease or heartworm disease do to a dog, can you tell us and give us a little bit of your knowledge?
Well, it's actually a parasite that gets into the dog's heart, but again, it's always best to hear from the experts, and the experts in this case is your vet. And so make sure you come to your vet, and they can show you how it looks like. They have pictures. Sometimes they actually have the worm, and it's it's a big worm. They actually get to live in the heart of your dog. So the more you know, the more you can act in a preventive matter. It's not about being alarmed about it, but it's just to prevent the problem.
That's absolutely true. And one of the things I've always wanted to ask you is, I mean, obviously we know dogs have incredible instincts, but you have incredible instincts. How have you been able to work with what you have and your own instincts with the dogs, and be able to deal with them in the way that you do, that so many people want to gain from you?
Well, it really comes down to being calm. So when you enter into the space of a dog, the first thing you have to think is about being calm. Once you're calm, you start feeling how the dog feels. So the dog is going to tell you, I'm tense, I'm nervous, I'm fearful, I'm anxious. And then you tell him, without saying a word, I know how you feel. And then with knowing how he feels, he's going to tell you, I need exercise or I need mental stimulation. Because in reality, dogs in America, they get plenty of affection. You know, my
Right.
clients do affection, 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 but what they don't do is exercise discipline and then affection.
Well, and that's what's so amazing about you is that you're really so good at that balance of discipline with affection and being able to give the love, but also being able to give the hard love and the tough love. And I think a lot of people are afraid of losing that relationship with their dog if they're too tough on them. But what would you tell those people who are afraid, you know, even if it's the dog coming up to you and wanting to eat the food that you know they're not supposed to eat? What would you tell somebody about that?
Well, to understand that discipline is part of love, because dog gets a sense of direction. Rules, boundaries, and limitation is affection. You know, because a dog has a clear understanding of what to do and how to be in our environment. And talking about rules, they're telling me I gotta go.
Okay. Well, Cesar Millan, it has been my pleasure to talk to you. So many people appreciate you. We thank you for being on. And when you're in New Mexico, let's go together and teach me how to rehabilitate the dogs.
Absolutely, Nikki.
We'd love to have you. Thanks so much.
We have to tape it. We have to tape it so people can see how you react on it.
It's a deal. It's a deal.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Cesar.